We got some bad news for CM Punk and his SummerSlam match with Drew McIntyre. There is a major change that's going to take place for that fight. WrestleVotes reported this. Source states the current plans have Seth Rollins as a special guest referee for the CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre SummerSlam match. Creative is proceeding under the assumption that Punk will be ready for action with the anticipated clearance date set for the Monday beforehand, July 29th. WrestleVotes proceeded to show an image of The Undertaker versus Bret Hart, with Shawn Michaels being the special guest referee at that match. I say this is bad news for CM Punk because he will most likely get screwed out of this match. All Punk and McIntyre want is a singles match where they get to destroy each other. Unfortunately, that will not be the case. There will be some shenanigans because of Seth freaking Rollins. It will be interesting to see how WWE inserts Seth into the match as a referee, because that would be a little odd. I'm also curious to see how they book this finish. It wouldn't make sense to have the exact same finish. Something tells me that Seth Rollins will instead maybe screw both of them out of the match. We're not going to get a winner, in my opinion, because WWE will probably want to protect both men while advancing the storyline. Maybe the WWE could even have Rollins screw Punk, which will give us a singles Hell in a Cell match between Punk and Rollins at Bad Blood, and then Punk can restart his feud with Drew McIntyre. But the big difference here will be that it will take place at WrestleMania 41, and this time it will be for the World Heavyweight Championship. To me, that kind of sounds like the best idea, but we'll see what WWE comes up with. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Are you excited with the addition of Seth Rollins as a special guest referee, or do you think it kind of ruins this match for you? I also want to point out that it's crazy that WWE is booking this SummerSlam match, at least internally, and he's not even cleared yet. It would be a shame if CM Punk does not get cleared. Let's hope that is not the case. I just thought it was really interesting to see that they were booking this match on the expectation that he will be ready to go. Even though we don't have good news for CM Punk, we do have some good news for AEW. All Elite Wrestling content has started to appear on some HBO Max accounts. This is good news because AEW's been in the process of trying to secure a new deal with Warner Bros. Although it's not official, this pretty much lets us know that we should expect to hear something very soon. At least that's what I'm guessing. I don't see HBO adding a bunch of AEW content only to be like, you know what, never mind, and just take it down in a couple months. That just doesn't make sense. So I'm hoping this does mean that AEW got the new deal. Whether you are an AEW fan or not, this is great for the sport of professional wrestlers. AEW allows so many more people to get paid, and that is a cool thing. So as wrestling fans, I think it's important for us to want to see AEW succeed for our favorites on the TV screen. We have an update from the Wrestling Observer newsletter on the Intercontinental Championship match for SummerSlam, and it's not great for Ilja Dragunov. This is what they reported. As of earlier this week, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker for the IC title was still scheduled as a singles rematch for Money in the Bank, and it will not be a triple threat match with Ilja Dragunov. This is pretty disappointing. I don't know about you, but I'd rather see a triple threat match between Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, and Ilja Dragunov for the IC title instead of a singles rematch. It wouldn't hurt anyone in this match if you add him. Braun Breaker got involved last time, so it makes sense to let these three men settle it in the ring, but who knows what WWE is cooking up. But if I was Triple H, that's how I would book it. But in the meantime, we got to see what Triple H does do. And the last thing I want to show is a clip from Chris Van Vliet's interview with Cody Rhodes, where he talks about his time with AEW. I thought it was very interesting, and it's a great listen, so the link will be in the description below. Anyways, let's roll the footage.
Through all of this over the last few years, you've never said anything bad about AEW.
Yeah.
And you've never said anything bad about your time in AEW.
Yeah. You want to change it? Say something bad?
Well, you know, why have you taken the high road?
Yeah, I don't know if I consider it the high road. Maybe it is. How could I not, right? How AEW ended was terrible, really. And people are going to write books later on, and these stories are going to get out there, and then it's going to be a whole new ball game. But the actual experience and everything we did, I mean, and you're included in that. I'm in this Miami hotel, you know, and we did our interview.
Yeah, I was on the first episode.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
You ever seen the end of The Dark Knight?
Of course.
I think that's, again, it's super convoluted, and I'm not comparing myself to Batman, but there's a piece of it that's really important. To certain fans from the AEW fandom, they need the story to be, they didn't want me, they pushed me. They need, he was bad, they need that story.
So you're the villain.
They need me to be the villain
that Gotham needs.
Right, yeah. Right. I was always fine with accepting that because of the respect I have for it in the first place. How difficult it was to do the original All In, how unbelievable the feeling was to do Double or Nothing, how fortunate we were that Tony wanted to invest in this vision, and he had a vision as well. How special Mad Nick in the BTE era and Kenny and my rivalry in New Japan, especially from a dollars and cents point, that made New Japan more money than anything they ever did. And it made Ring of Honor going through the roof at the time. So regardless of any petty squabbles, I will always have a love for it. I got to wrestle Brody Lee's final match. I got to lead people, young people, behind the scenes. I'll always have a love for it. So the idea that I'm sure there's some negative stuff. I go, oh, this sucked or what, but I just don't. I just remember it lovingly. And I also knew I was leaving. I knew it was a season. I knew this isn't going to last, and there's something greater for me out there. And I know that might sound negative to people, but it's not. Like, that's the biggest prize in the wrestling game. If you put on boots, that's the one. And I just wanted to go get it, and I had nothing but respect for my time there. I got to sharpen my skills, like right before it came to WWE. It's the same. Like, the energy was there. The renaissance was happening. It wasn't just company based. I think they're giving us the Iggy. His kids are giving us the but it was all there. And I just have a love for it because I got to sharpen my skills. And by the time I got to WrestleMania and WWE, I felt like, okay, I've come back a complete package. I'm in command of, this is how the music goes. I'm in command of who the American Nightmare is. And I can know that and understand it better than a writer or a producer. And thankfully we have all those things, but nothing but love. Nothing. I'm trying to think of something bad to say. Nothing but love. Oh, here's one. Okay. Here's one. Okay. I got it back. Okay. Uh-oh. This one's juicy. Wrestle purists, get ready. I hated that in the Young Bucks book, they said I was last to the signing, because that's a big thing. Some of the AEW defenders who don't realize they're turning people off to their product more than they're turning people on. That's one of the things that people always cite. Oh, he was last. He wasn't that big a deal to the origin. No, this guy here who's off camera was the first person to ever meet Tony. And he met him in a vetting process for all of us. So yes, I guess I was the last. And yes, I had different thoughts, and it's not incorrect at all what they said.
That you were physically the last person.
Yeah, like it's not
sign your name.
It's not incorrect, but I was just in on it as well as anybody else, and that's a little thing that